Hey everybody, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Ready to Die Fighting. I'm Chris, and I'm in my basement, and I've got, as I showed in a previous video, a new to me bike. This is a Giant Boulder SE. It's a few years old, but overall it's in pretty good shape. I plan on using this as my secondary bike for slow rolls, just kind of casually riding around in the neighborhood and with friends, maybe mostly paved bike trails, maybe some gravel and dirt, but it's going to be mostly just kind of casual, more comfortable riding. And right now, this bike isn't very comfortable for me because the seat is just way too high. The bike is generally too big. Now, if I stand over it, this top tube, I can stand with both feet flat on the ground, and I've got some room. It's not touching my crotch, which is what you want. You want to have some space there. You want it to be close, but not actually hitting up against you. And but the seat, however, it just raises me up so much that when I'm pedaling, when the pedal is all the way down at the bottom, my leg is just too straight. It's like completely knees like locked out, and it's kind of uncomfortable. And so I need to lower the seat. Problem is, this is as low as it goes. So I'm going to have to cut this tubing down a little bit, and that really isn't a big deal. So if you're going to do something like this, you will hopefully have some markings on here. And can you see that? And that shows you the minimum that you want to have inserted. So even though this is pretty lengthy, you can't just stick it in that far and think that you're going to be able to safely ride. You have to have at minimum right there to be safe. So I'm just going to grab my calipers, or you could use a tape measure, whatever. I'm going to open these up right about there, and I just need to leave that much space. So realistically, I only need to take a few inches off and it would be fine, I think. So I'm probably going to cut right about there, maybe here, and that leaves plenty of space. I can even go, like, I probably want it to be, because see, if it's down here already, just as is, so that's where it sits at its lowest point. I do want to leave room for lights and whatnot here. So, yeah, I really only want to take off. That's about the lowest it could sit right there. It's like, what is that? That's only, I don't know. What is that? An inch. Let's call it an inch, maybe 2. So that's the most I'd want to take off anyway. So I'm going to go right about there to this point, and that should be fine. I'm not even measuring it. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And to cut this, you have a few options. You can take it to a bike shop and tell them that you want them to cut it, an inch or 2 short for you. They will, for a fee. You could also use a hacksaw. I like to use just tubing cutter. You get this in the plumbing section of probably any home repair store. I got this one from Home Depot. I want to say it's like $20-something. But they come in handy for plumbing, and they're great for cutting these hollow tubes on bikes. I had a smaller one that I'd used for cutting handlebars because they are much thinner than a seat post. But to do this, you need the bigger one, so I had to make a little upgrade. But they are easy enough to use. So a lot of times there's going to be some grease on here, and I'm just going to wipe that off. I'm not going to stress about getting it perfectly clean, but just to make it a little easier, I'm just going to wipe some of that grease off there. And then you just turn to close this up some. I'm just going to get it ballpark close to where it needs to be. Decide where you want to cut. So I want to cut right about there. Should be just fine. Let me close it up a little bit more. A little bit more. I mean, that's basically all this is. You're just closing a little bit more, a little bit more. Of course, I did too much that time. All right, so right about there. Are we on screen? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to get that in my rough position that I want it. I'd say right about there. If you're picky about the exact length, by all means mark it or something. And then, let me take this off. You just tighten it a little bit. Go around. I usually go around a couple times so it spins a little bit easier. Give it a turn until, and you're not cranking down. Just turn it a little bit till you get some resistance. Turn it again. So it feels easy. You'll feel the resistance. And it's just little turns that I'm doing here, just like a, not even an eighth of a turn. It's just a little, just like that. And you're just cutting a little bit at a time until you can see this line forming, and it just stays in the exact same spot. And we're just cut, 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 cut. I might have to edit this down because this does take, it takes a few minutes to do this. Just trying to prop it up just a little easier. It's wanting to turn with me, which is kind of annoying. But this is by no means difficult. And I like it because it's nice and clean. It's not hard. What's making it difficult for me is that I'm trying to do it on camera, of course. And so I'm trying to hold it up where you can see where I normally like sit down and like prop it on a bench or something to make it a little easier. But so much I love you guys. Inconvenience myself so you can see me do these little projects. Now, as I talked about in the other video, the other thing that I want to do with this bike is I need to shorten the stem, the handlebars, the handlebar stem. However, that's not something that I can just cut. You have to get a new stem that's the proper length. And what was really nice is I went to Cycle to Fitness, my bike shop that I frequent. It's a really nice place. It's in Livonia. And they were able to not only sell me Nate's new bike, but when I told them I had a little project bike that I was working on, it was used and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it, and I just needed a few parts, they scrounged around in their bins and found, and we're done. But they went into their bins and they found some used parts for me. And so I got the parts that I needed really cheap. And the stuff that they didn't have, they were to order. And I got to get those new. They'll be in a few days. But awesome. Saved a lot of money. And was able to get more stuff than what I was planning within my budget. So now this comes with, I think it's called a deburrer. Because this edge here it's not so nice. So I'm just going to stick that in there and just turn it a few times. And I'm closing my eyes just to be safe. I think probably the absolute last thing I would want is metal shavings in my eyes, so. That's pretty good. And very nice. Give it a little test fit. Why doesn't it want to go in? Let me loosen this up some here. Let me put some grease back on. Don't need a ton. It should certainly go in without it, though. I haven't had that issue before. And that's just a part tool bike grease. Let's see. That's so weird. Why doesn't it want to go in, though? There we go. So now it drops down way down here. Excellent. And it's not bottoming me out. So I probably right here might be good for me. Just a couple inches lower than what it was. Let me tighten this some. Put it right about there. All right, let's take it off the stand and let's see if this is a better fit. I can't tell which way I'm supposed to turn. There we go. Okay, let me adjust the camera here. All right, so when you are trying to, let's see. That. Okay, when you are trying to fit a bike, you want to make sure, I don't know if you can see my feet or not, but so my feet are flat on the ground here. I can comfortably stand, and it's just, I've got some room to bounce here, so that's not hurting me. It's kind of like barely touching. That's fine. Now, without actually riding, it's going to be hard to tell if this is good. But there, so now my leg is straight for the most part, but the knee has, I've got a little bit of bend there. And that feels much more comfortable and natural to me. So I think this is probably a good spot. I can move it up or down as needed when I take it for a test ride. But that's pretty good. That's much more comfortable already. So, step one, why is it so crooked? Step one of the bike project is complete. The next thing I'm going to be working on is shortening the stem. So here's the handlebar stem, and also replacing the handlebars, because honestly, I just don't like them. I think they look ugly. They're on the thin side, a little wimpy. So I'm replacing the stem out of necessity. It's just too far away, in my opinion, for my comfort level. And then I'm replacing the handlebars just because I don't like them, and I got them a new one used pretty cheap. And then I'll also be replacing these shifters because I just don't like you're not supposed to shift when not moving, but I just don't like the shifters on top. It just feels weird to me. I want it down here, like on my other bikes. And because the shifters are integrated with the brakes, I'm going to have to actually replace the brakes as well. So that's the next project, is just replacing this area. If you enjoy this content, like and subscribe. If you don't enjoy this content, then leave a comment and tell me that. And I'm going to still work on this bike, but maybe I just won't record it. So let me know what you guys think. If you enjoy this type of content, if you think this is helpful to you to become a better prepper, or just a better outdoors person, or whatever it is you consider yourself to be, let me know. Or if there's a certain thing on your bike you need to change, certain questions you have, please do comment. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.